Well, another Sweet Baby Inc. game crashes and burns, and it's midnight. Well, south of midnight. What did you expect? Obviously, this was going to bomb. This is the game that was going to have a redhead, if I remember rightly. Like, you can actually see it all. It's going to be a redhead, and they were like, no, psych. We're going to make it a black woman. Because reasons, I guess. It's very interesting, isn't it, how they keep race swapping gingers. What have you got against gingers, man? Like, not you personally watching, but Sweet Baby Inc. What have you got against gingers? This one also, I think, is genuinely a bit of a self-insert character by Kim Belair, the person who runs Sweet Baby Inc. Quite similar looking, to be honest. Same sort of hairstyle and stuff. So I don't know. I just think maybe a self-insert. But I thought we'd take a look at this. Bit of fun. Lighten the mood. Everyone's feeling a bit down. So let's laugh at Sweet Baby Inc. bombing. And also the gaming industry just speed running Oblivion, because that's always funny. So Sweet Baby Inc. game South of Midnight flops hard. So will they learn? Will the gaming industry learn and not hire Sweet Baby Inc.? Hopefully. So it says this. There's another brutal blow for Sweet Baby Inc. and its embattled CEO Kim Belair. The company's latest narrative endeavour, South of Midnight, has officially launched, and the results are awful. Like, truly awful. So what was meant to be a first-party Xbox Game Pass showcase has turned into yet another cautionary tale of what happens when identity politics takes precedence over actual gameplay, and that's true. Just make a good game, right? And a really good example of this, right, is Alien. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? So Alien was written, all of the characters were written as genderless, right? That's true. Go look it up. Everyone was just written as characters. So you had to actually make a character. They weren't making or breaking on what was flipping or flapping between their legs. And this is the same thing with video games, right? Make a good game. If you want a black woman, that's fine. But don't let that be the priority. That's dumb. That's monumentally dumb. What's between your legs and the pigmentation of your skin, right, is should very clearly be secondary to an actual good game. That should be the priority. You can have black female leads. Of course you can. Absolutely, of course you can. But don't make that the focus. That's like, oh, that's the inception. We must do this. It's like, well, what about the rest of it? So anyway, this is terrible, obviously. So there's some defenders obviously trying to soften expectations by pointing to Game Pass availability. The raw data tells a different story. So on Steam, which is one of the most reliable barometers of public interest, which it is, South of Midnight has barely cracked 1,000 concurrent players. It has cracked it, but it's not doing very well. That was on launch day. I mean, it's not even 2,500 players. I mean, that's just, look at this. Look at this. Jesus. So Microsoft, this is a Microsoft-owned studio, by the way. So they own this, the company that made this. Obviously, they've been promoted, major showcases, etc. They can't. They're struggling to get above 1,000. That's just hilarious. So obviously, it is Sweet Baby Inc. Obviously, and there's some interesting sort of peek behind the curtains here. So we got this video of the writer, South of Midnight's writer. Let's have a listen to this.
Saying I would definitely like to see more queer characters of color, not just, just a white queer character. I would like to see more people that look like me. I think audiences have a very vocal minority of people who are very much against inclusion of anything that's not, as we said, like a cis straight white man. But our existences aren't political, they just are. And I think that more and more people are expecting to see that kind of representation and also expecting it to get broader as time goes on, as opposed to just having that same like white gay guy archetype, or like Ellie in The Last of Us. We're looking for people who non-binary, intersex, trans, who aren't just white. They look like me and you. And I think that games are starting to delve into that more, but I think it also needs to be intentional and not an afterthought. It can't, like, if you're writing, like Tori said, it has to be from the beginning. The team should be from that community, not like, oh, we're wherever in our process, we should probably bring on like a consultant who we may or may not listen to. It should, from the beginning, it should be a priority. And I think audiences are hungry for that kind of thoughtfulness. And I think queer people of color are able to write, like, within their own identity, white characters of that same identity. But I don't think that white creators can on their own cross that boundary to write a...
Sorry. Black people can write white characters, but white people can't write black characters. This person is retarded.
A queer person of color, because as people of color, we have to exist within the framework of...
Let's just stop that. But now you can clearly see why it has been a disaster. Anyway, so there's some more, right? South of Midnight's writer. Obviously, this is what we just taken a look at. I mean, we could watch more of it, but I mean, it's no. So the creative team's public affiliations have only poured fuel on the fire. The studio's community manager, known online as Pika Chalita, has a history of divisive rhetoric that's been well documented by independent critics like Smash JT. Her front-facing role in the game's promotion only reinforced the idea that this project was built for clout, not for players. But the content's shit. So apparently it's about 7.5 hours of gameplay. Now that would be short even for a budget indie title, let alone a supposed AA showcase from a first-party studio. It's just bad. Looks kind of cool. No DEI rot in the game so far. The main problem is the gameplay is so boring. After 1.5 hours, I asked myself, do I want to continue? And the answer is no. Good times. Good times. So, this is obviously a disaster. And there is some evidence to say that Sony has basically gone, you know what? Sweet Baby Inc., you are not good. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. So, Gothic Therapy, a writer for this website, revealed that a verified insider claimed PlayStation has started cancelling projects that Sweet Baby Inc. was attached to, which would be interesting. So these are not isolated decisions either. Apparently they were described as targeted, deliberate cancellations, a sign that Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement was seen as a liability, not an asset. So there you go. I mean, there's not much else really to go through. This is just a disaster, like you'd expect. Look at this turd. Ugh. Anyway, this game sucks. Sweet Baby Inc. sucks. You should get shut down for what you do. You are just promoting propaganda, so you should absolutely get shut down. Love to hear your thoughts though, guys. Please do leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.